Okay, here we have our Xbox controller, and trying to use it. I think maybe pop got spilled on it or something, but I'm trying to jump and I'm pushing the A button and it just refuses to jump. I'm the lower one down there. Button, 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 no jumping. All the other buttons seem to work, but this one is not working. So maybe we'll take apart this controller and see if we can, maybe something got stuck in between the contacts, and see if we can clean that out and make it work again. Okay, here we have the back of it, and let's get the batteries out of it while we work on it. It looks like there's some kind of custom torque type screws with the thing in the middle of it. Looks like the wonderful people at Microsoft don't want you to work on your own equipment here that they sold you and that you own. So let's see if we can find something to undo these screws. Okay. Okay, so here we have our jeweler's screwdrivers, and we have a whole assortment of them. And sometimes if you take the right type of screwdriver, just the exact right size, and see it looks like a 6-pointed star with a little pin in the middle. Maybe you can see that one better. And I was able to get this one in the slot here, and looks like I'm twisting it. The other one was a little bit tighter, but it looks like this one's going to come out. So maybe we can get the rest of the screws out without, these screwdrivers are not really designed to do this, so it might wreck it. But see, it's a 6-pointed star with a little thing in the middle. And that jeweler's screwdriver, if you get one exactly the right size, sometimes they can fit into those unusual security nuts and twist them without breaking. I'm starting to twist the end of the screwdriver a little bit, but hopefully we don't wreck it up too much. And maybe we can get the rest of these screws out and take this stupid controller apart and try to fix it. Okay, we got a couple of the screws out already, but some of them are much tighter, so I'm not able to put enough torque on this screwdriver with that tiny little radius there. Torque is force times radial arm, and so maybe some pair of vice grips or pliers or something, if I grab onto it I can twist a lot harder, and so either I'll get the screw out or I'll wreck my little screwdriver. Hopefully I get the screw out. I'm going to have to put the camera down for this operation, I think. We'll see if we get it apart. Okay, I got all the tricky ones out in the front. It looks like the back two that are hidden way deep inside are actually an Allen wrench. And so we can... What size was that? I think this is a 5/64 that I pulled out of there. And so looks like we might be able to pull them out. I'm sticking the screwdriver in and it's just spinning because it's hard to see down the hole, but it's not one of these special ones with the pin in the center, the security ones. It looks like it's a regular Allen wrench. So it looks like we'll be able to just take it out with this guy. Maybe it was a security one and I just broke the pin off in the middle, so I had to use an Allen wrench with that one, which is fine with me. If you can break that pin out, looks like you can use a 5/16 Allen wrench. So anyway, you can get them out. I'm down to one screw left. Let's see if I can get that last one out. Okay, there we go. All 6 are out. I used the Allen wrench on the last back one also. Not sure if that pin broke or if it was supposed to be a hex, but definitely used the Allen wrench on the last 2 to get them out. Okay, so let's see what's inside of this thing. Looks like it's going to come apart for us now, finally. Hopefully. Okay, so we have this barcode sticker at the bottom inside this little battery compartment, and if we peel it up here, grab it, peel it up, oh look at that, sneaky old Microsoft hit another screw right under that barcode, right there under the battery compartment. So let's see if we can take that one out as well. Maybe we can take this thing apart. That was the last thing holding this up. Total of 7 screws to take out. Okay, it looks like a little screwdriver broke the pin out of the middle of that one also, so we can use a 5/64 Allen wrench to take it apart, looks like. Use both hands to get this guy out. Okay, so I think we have all the screws out, so let's see if this thing comes apart. It feels like it's going to. Well, look at that. Okay. Ooh, what the heck. So, let's take a look at what's inside of here. All sorts of cool stuff. So it looks like we have our vibrating motors here, battery pack springs, here's our triggers. We're going to have to figure out how to get to the top of it without hopefully disassembling it too much, so we can see if there's contacts on the A button that we can clean up. Oh, look at that, all sorts of cool stuff. We have defeated you, Microsoft. Okay, so it looks like this part kind of lifts off, and there's a bunch of contacts in here for the different things. And this is the contact for the A button right here. Let's take a look. So here's where the A button should be. So maybe if I clean up the contacts underneath there, maybe I can get this stupid thing working again. So I'll fiddle with that and see if we can fix that. Okay, we kind of partially reassembled it so we can test it while the game is working. See, its controller is definitely working, but the A button is still not working, so we'll see if we can figure out. It'll be easier to troubleshoot it. We can immediately see whether we fixed the problem or not. I'm pressing the A button and it is definitely not working. Okay, I tried taking this contact right here and testing it on one of the other buttons over there, and it seems to work. So the contacts, I think, are working fine here. So it's got to be something in the board down here. So maybe there's something on the surface, so we'll try to maybe clean it up or something. I'll look around, see if there's any other problems that could be causing the A button not to work. The other buttons are definitely working, but the A button is not. Okay. I don't know if you could see it, but there's a contact right here, and it had a bunch of white powdery stuff. It might have been corrosion, so I tried to scrape that away. I'll go around and scrape up the rest of the circuit. I think it might have been corrosion from something getting spilled in here or something. So maybe if I clean that up good, the contact will work again. Okay, here's some of the button feed-throughs up here, and these had some kind of pop or some drink spilled in them, and they're kind of crusty, so I'm moving them around to get them loosened up. Okay. Okay, so I've traced this circuit here. Looks like this side here is connected to ground. It's right there. And this side is the faulty side. It goes to some via here, and it goes through the board. Now, I tested the buttons for this one on other ones, and I've tested the ground from this one, shorting it up to there. And so the ground is good. So the problem with the circuit is from here to the via, someplace to wherever it goes. But if we flip the board over, that via is under this plastic switch thing over here. And I'm not sure what could go wrong with that, but it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of wires that come out of that and head over toward this microchip and some other things. A bunch of tiny little resistors, and I'm not really seeing anything on the board that I can, any junk that I can clean off or any corrosion or anything. I may have to take this switch off, but might be a lost cause. But anyway, in principle, we could try to fix this now that we have this board apart. Okay, so we put this on sounding ohms so that when we touch the two things together, it will beep. And it looks like these other ones, they'll have like a little via. The trace goes down to a via. And you check the continuity to that. It has continuity, but this one over here, the A button is not working. It's hard to see the trace because it's so small. But there's no continuity to the via that's right here. And I tried fiddling around with it, but it looks like possibly the trace is broken right before the via. So maybe I can fix that. These other ones all have continuity to their little vias that they're connected to, but this one does not. Okay, so when I manually take some screwdrivers and short that via to the ground here, it looks like it's causing the thing to jump. And so that seems to be the problem. So I just need to reconnect the trace. The trace came loose from the little via over to that pad. So maybe I can do some micro soldering and solder that into place. Okay. It's going to be like conducting microsurgery. Let me just wait for the soldering iron to get hot. I'm going to try to solder right across there. That little via to the pad over there. See if we can fix this problem. Okay. I ended up taking the lead of a tiny little resistor and chopping it and coating it with solder and bridging the gap between the via and here. And it seems as though that is working. We put the button pad down over it, and we look up here. A button is now working. We're flying up in the air, and so we'll try reassembling it and see if we can get this thing to work again. Okay, so I put all the pads in there on top of the buttons, and put the motors back in here and put it all into the top half, because that looks like the easiest way to reassemble it. I'll take the bottom half and try to fit it back on over these trigger buttons like that and see if the thing will work. Okay, we have our controller back together, and looks like the A button is now working. So maybe I'll put one screw in, because that's all you really need. We don't need 7 safety screws to screw us from trying to take the thing apart. Anyway, this is Dr. Janes, and thanks for watching. Looks like our controller is fixed now.